Hey, what's up, guys? It's Aaron, or LM9, and today I have a new custom Lego MOC to show you all. Now, if you guys remember, about a year ago, I made a display of the Iron Throne and the Red Keep for my custom Lego Game of Thrones figures. But now, since I'm working through making figures from the Clone Wars, I thought it would be cool to make a display for them as well. Now, since the world of the Clone Wars is so massive and immersive and expansive, I couldn't really settle on just one environment for this display, so I split this into 4 different unique sections. Now, the first section is the Kamino Barracks, inspired by the episodes Clone Cadets and ARC Troopers, as well as the Battlefront 2 Kamino map. Now, here we can see what this section would look like full of figures. Granted, most of the figures in this whole entire display that I'll be showing you guys are just placeholders until I make more figures from the Clone Wars. So in this section, the only figure that's going to stay there is Rex. Cody and the 501st Trooper are from Revenge of the Sith, so they'll probably go back with my Revenge of the Sith figures, and then the other 5 are just from my Battlefront 2 video. So once I start making some more clones, this area will start to fill up a little more. But we can go ahead and take these guys out of here so we can get a better look at the build. Now, the flooring is just made of some tiles, and I do have some studs showing to peg the figures in so they don't fall around and everything, unlike my Game of Thrones display, where they do not peg in at all and always fall over. And you can also see some crates behind that to allow some troopers to be elevated using that vertical space so they're not all just one big cluster of figures there. So using that vertical space a little bit. And then you can see the barrack tubes behind them. I know that's not a technical term right there, but in this section, unfortunately, I couldn't make the beds actually extend out. But I think, it gets the point across. One thing I really like is the ladder section with the orange background to it. This is very pleasing. There's also just some curved bricks in the back that you can see a little bit to get that kind of elegant, curved, minimalist vibe that the Kaminoans had. Now, my only complaint about this section is some of these white pieces are a little yellowed, but that's not really a huge deal. Overall, I think the build is pretty solid. Yeah, I think it's going to look really great when I get some more clones in here, like Fives and Wolf, to go along with Rex. This next section is based on the Jedi Temple library, and I imagine you guessed it by now, this is where all of my Jedi figures will go. So in here, I've got Anakin, Obi-Wan, Yoda, Ahsoka, Mace Windu from Revenge of the Sith, and then an official Lego Aayla Secura. So I'm hoping to fill this in with a little more Jedi, such as like Plo Koon or Ki-Adi-Mundi or Kit Fisto or something like that. I think those guys would look really cool in here, and just making more Jedi is always something really fun to do. But if we take these figures out of here, we can get a better look at the steps and the flooring patterns I designed with the various shades of tans and dark reds, and that flooring pattern continues all the way up the steps up to the bookcases. Now, these bookcases have these transparent clear and transparent, I think, light blue pieces in there to represent the glowing books that the Jedi Temple has, and then in between the bookshelves are these little pillars that I made using some Technic connectors and some masonry bricks. My only complaint about this section is that there's this gap right here, this 2-stud wide gap, so I'm thinking about modifying this a little bit in the future to maybe fill that gap in with some sort of background or something. I'm not really sure how I do that, so if anybody has any suggestions, I'm all ears. I love to fill that in so you can't just see right through it. But overall, I really like this section. The third section is definitely my favorite of the 4, the Mandalore throne room. Now, before we get into it, I have to say that this is the only section that isn't completely my design. I was inspired heavily off of Marty Brooks' throne room duel. A link to that is in the description if you guys want to check that out. Just a really cool MOC he made for the Season 7 of the Clone Wars. So I kind of just reverse engineered that throne room, or that throne section in here, and I think it turned out pretty good. Now, in this section, I plan to have any figure that I make associated with Mandalore, such as like Maul and Savage, Pre Vizsla, Bo-Katan, Gar Saxon, maybe even a Season 7 Ahsoka and a 332nd Trooper. But now if we take all these figures out of here, we can see the nice flooring pattern that leads up to these steps, which then eventually leads up to Maul's throne room, which is just built using some really cool techniques. It's a lot of just snot technique, studs not on top. So I thought that was really cool. And then behind that throne is a massive stained glass mural, which was really hard to reverse engineer, but I think I did all right on it. There's some gaps here and there, but doing that type of stuff isn't the easiest, especially for somebody like me who had never made a mural like that using all of these transparent Lego pieces. There's also some cool details like the black trim on the mural. There's black details on the sides of the throne. And then also these transparent orange light fixtures on the side. Overall, I just think this section looks so nice, and it just looks so evil because it's based off of, Maul's throne room, not Satine's, where hers is, got some bright blues and everything, where his is all dark and, rough looking. So I'm really happy with how this turned out. Now, if you guys are wondering, here's what a figure looks like sitting on the throne itself. Overall, I just absolutely love this section, but let's move on to the last one. The final section is the box, based off of the box from the Clone Wars. Now this section is where I plan to have any like scummy or villainous or bounty hunting characters such as Ventress, Cad Bane, Bossk, or even Hondo. Now this section actually has like 3 small sections within it, so if we take these figures out we can get a better look at that. The first one is the room from the box that has the ray shields on the floor and then coming out from the sides, and then has some pillars in the center that are rising up for characters to stand on. So I executed that just using some masonry bricks for that industrial feel of the box, and then some transparent red tiles for the ray shields. Now behind that is I think the first room from the box where they had the rising pillars, and then they had the dioxis gas coming out of the floor that Obi-Wan had to jump through. Now for that gas, I used some ice cream pieces for the smoke and stacked them on each other. And it looks kind of goofy, but I really like the green color that it brings out. You know, it makes this section look really unique. It's got the gray that kind of blends in with the Mandalore section that is right next to you, but it's got the green that really makes it pop, and the white looks really nice too. And also on the bottom of this section, you guys can see some transparent yellow plates that are just for the lights and just that kind of nice yellow look of the box. And then moving on to the final section, this is the room that has the, I guess the pillars or whatever that come shooting out of the walls and the floor and the ceiling that have the lightsaber blades on them that are just stabbing people. So I made 3 of those in this section, and then used some transparent yellow tiles for or plates for the lights in those sections, and then also had some transparent yellow blades for the actual blades. And then you can stand some minifigures up there as well. They have the peg holes for that. And then the backdrop is just the wall of that section using those 2x2 jumper plates, which I think looks really nice. Gives that, like I said, that nice industrial feel. That combined with the masonry bricks makes it look really cool. So overall, I'm really happy with this section. It was the last one I did, and I think it's the most unique one out of them because I've never really seen anybody do a box build before. So this one was a lot of fun. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for this video. Let me know what you guys think of this custom LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars MOC. I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this and any feedback you guys might have on how to improve it a little bit. And if you guys are liking these custom builds that I've been doing, let me know because I would love to post some other stuff I've been working on. I have a lot of custom builds that I've built from instructions or just other people's designs that I'd love to show off to you guys because they're just so cool looking. Some of the best Star Wars builds out there, I think. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. I'd be glad to do some videos on that. But until then, I am still working on my custom LEGO Star Wars The Clone Wars figures. So you guys saw Maul and Pre Vizsla, and then here's a little preview of the Bo-Katan I'm working on. And then once I finish her up, I should be working on Gar Saxon and Savage. And then that'll be it for that part. So those guys should be done, hopefully, within the next month or so. But yeah, that's all I really have for this video. So again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys later.